I took my parents to a court for valuing sons over daughters. If they were found guilty, my brother would be executed on the spot, and my parents would end up broke and sick. If they were innocent, then I would be the one executed, and my parents would thrive and live long. All my relatives said I must be crazy. Everyone thought my parents doted on me, their daughter. What they didn't know was that I'd been reincarnated. Once a trial begins, it can't be stopped midway. Otherwise, no matter the outcome, execution is certain. The icy voice of the AI judge broadcasted from the courtroom's big screen. This is an alternate universe, home to a Supreme Court with the power to judge anyone. News of my taking my parents to court spread fast. The whole extended family quickly gathered to attend, and as audience members, they buzzed with chatter about me and my parents, who sat at the defendant's table. My brother Larry was there too, standing beside them as an indirect party in the trial. I looked at the three of them, all hurting. My dad, Matt, looked at me with love. "Sweetheart, stop this before the trial begins. We can't lose you." My mom, Jennifer, pleaded tearfully, "Mary, honey, don't mess with the court. You mean everything to us. If you're executed, we couldn't bear it." Larry just shook his head at me in frustration. Mom and Dad named me Larry, hoping for a daughter. Everyone knows they spoil you. Even named you Mary, like you're their treasure. What more could you want? I gazed at them coldly. The old me would never have taken them to court. But alas, I'm back from another life. In my past life, I learned too late that I was born only for my brother's sake. Seeing my cold demeanor, their faces fell into deeper sorrow. The crowd below began to chit-chat too. An ungrateful daughter, right? Look at her designer clothes. Poor Larry probably couldn't afford her shoes. I don't buy Matt favoring sons. Why have Mary if they have Larry? Mary lost it. She gets whatever she wants, including the stars if she asked. Totally ungrateful. I'd believe anything before I'd think Matt favors sons. If anything, they dote on the daughter. I've seen Jennifer favor Mary over Larry. If Mary wants something Larry likes, it's as good as hers. Just have one kid, avoids this court mess. The judge finally banged the gavel, quieting the room. Plaintiff Mary, defendants Matt and Jennifer, are you ready for judgment? Without missing a beat, I replied, ready. Please proceed. I couldn't wait to expose their deceitful facades. My parents, seeing my resolve, exchanged a subtle glance. They wanted to say more, but I stepped forward and pushed the trial start button. Beep. The trial commenced. The judgment is based on the evidence provided by whoever makes the claim. Mary is to share 5 memories indicating her parents favored boys over girls. The truth extractor will reveal the truth. Through the whole trial, fairness and justice shall prevail. No objections allowed. A flicker of fear passed over their faces but vanished quickly. The live stream was blowing up with comments. Even if it looks like Mary was spoiled and Larry not so much, could her claim about her folks be true? Up there, don't jump to conclusions. I heard Mary's just ungrateful. Was it just me, or did they seem unsettled? Risking execution to accuse parents, maybe she's really been wronged? Memory 1, now showing on the big screen. With the emotionless AI voice came the first memory. When I was 3, my parents had to work in the city. "Sweetheart, we're off to work in the city. We can't take care of you there," Mom said, full of reluctance. Dad ruffled my hair, "Stay with your grandparents. We'll send money every month." I cried, wanting to be with them. It was heartbreaking. Mom teared up, and Dad's eyes reddened. Larry, excited, ran up with his suitcase. "Mom, Dad, when do we leave?" "Even that young?" I asked. "Mom, why can Larry go with you?" "Honey, listen," she began. "Because Larry's older, he's tough. But you're precious to us. We worry we can't give you the care you deserve while working. Your grandparents have time to care for you well. It's best this way. Once you're in 1st grade, we'll bring you." In the end, they took Larry. I stayed behind. How is that favoring sons? Leaving the daughter with her grandparents sounded like care. It doesn't sit right, like something's off. Doesn't seem like bias. Larry's just easier to handle, but staying with grandparents seemed thoughtful. See how much Mom cried. Dad too. They hated leaving her. Most folks backed my folks. I eyed the trio, they seemed relieved. Right then, an AI voice chimed in. Truth extractor confirms bias occurred. Their faces turned dark. Gossip exploded among onlookers and through the streaming chat. Wow, they seemed genuine. How? Truth extractor faulty. Impossible. Universal law in this realm keeps them functional. I thought, why must girls be tender? If anything, a tender child needs parents more. Exactly. Even the best grandparents can't replace parents for little ones. The screen now revealed memories beyond mine, the truth extractor's pics. Mom didn't work as claimed, she stayed home to care for Larry. At 4, Larry was already in preschool. 2, because Mom worried Larry wouldn't get used to the food at kindergarten, she went to the market after dropping him off each day to cook meals with a mix of meat and veggies for him. She would pick him up at noon, feed him, and rock him to sleep. Then, she'd repeat the process in the afternoon. Every weekend and holiday, his parents would take Larry to amusement parks and on trips. Larry would grab his dad and Mom's hands, grinning ear to ear, saying, finally, Mom and Dad are all mine. With Mary around these 3 years, Larry felt he hadn't received their full love. Right. Leaving Mary behind intentionally this time was a way to make it up to our little boy. Don't let your sister know you're in LA, it's our little secret. Meanwhile, I was in a kindergarten back home, just like all those left behind kids, waiting for the day my parents would come and get me. The video freezes on a picture of a family of 3 holding hands and smiling widely. They clearly looked like a family. So happy. Mom, a bit flustered, started to explain quickly, I couldn't find a suitable job, so I became a full-time mom, taking care of Larry. Dad, looking embarrassed, apologized to me. Mary, when I said we intentionally left you, it was to comfort Larry. He felt like we ignored him after you were born. Larry mentioned that they really wanted a girl after him, which is why I came along so soon. How could you decide they prefer boys to girls just based on that? You know what they're really like, don't you? At this point, the comments started flooding in. You gotta admit, these parents are a bit misunderstood. Being there is the best sign of love. How can a kid be away from their parents when they have a choice? Not taking the daughter when they could is kinda biased, don't you think? But maybe, based on just this, saying they prefer boys to girls feels like a stretch. I also think this video doesn't prove anything. If anything, Larry was a bit overshadowed by Mary. Nothing wrong with making it up to him. Now, the screen starts playing my second memory. When I was 8, my parents brought me to the city. That night, Mom made a big plate of cola chicken wings. Both my brother and I loved them. But when my brother reached for a third one, Mom took the dish away. She put the remaining 7 wings into my bowl, telling my brother, "You're the older brother, let your sister have what she likes." But there are still so many. How about I take 3 and give her 4? Larry whined. I also felt it wasn't right to have them all, but Dad stopped me from sharing. Mary, sweetie, keep them. You're skinnier, eat up if you like. Mom gently encouraged me to, go ahead, sweetheart. I'll make more next time. So I finished all 7 wings, feeling really stuffed. This seems super biased. I mean, towards Mary. In the previous memory, the parents could have handled things better. But here, I can't see favoritism based on gender. Daughters should be coddled like this. My son wouldn't dare fight with his sister over food. Watch it, dude. You might end up with your kid taking you to court for that. But the verdict was still that my parents showed favoritism towards sons. Seriously. This verdict makes no sense. Relax, the truth extraction thing can't be wrong. Just wait. Making a kid eat too much isn't always love. But it doesn't mean they don't love them, it's just odd. Now, the truth extraction machine started showing what really happened. That night, my stomach hurt really bad, and I had diarrhea. I made 8 trips to the bathroom in an hour, feeling drained. My parents settled Larry down and rushed me to the ER. Turned out, I had eaten something bad, resulting in a stomach upset. My folks stayed up all night, and even asked the neighbor to take Larry to his important test the next day. But that exam was for both me and my brother at the math teacher's class. The teacher only had one spot open. No surprise, my brother got into the class. And I didn't even get a chance. At least we have one kid in the math teacher's class. My colleague says she's top-notch. All the parents rave about her. Good teachers are in demand. Once they're full, they're full. Too bad for Mary. For a moment, the comments paused, then poured in. So are you saying the parents made the daughter overread to give the brother a better shot? Am I the only one who thinks it's all up to fate, whether she got to take the test or not? It was just the daughter being greedy. No. Whether she would pass or not is different from having a chance to try. If you try, there's hope, but not trying means zero chances. I gotta ask, are you a parent? What mom doesn't know not to let a kid eat too much meat at night? A tummy ache is mild. You could get acute gastroenteritis. Well, I have 2 kids, and honestly, I didn't know. I think it might just be a coincidence. As the comments kept rolling in, the AI program turned them off and started my third memory. In middle school, I noticed many classmates had phones, so I pestered my parents to get me one too. I figured they'd probably say no, since they told my brother it'd be distracting. But this time, they just said they'd think about it, and then agreed the next day. Larry was sulking. You're playing favorites, buying her a phone but not me. Dad tapped his head. Silly boy, do you think you're the same as your sister? She's got good grades. If yours were like hers, we'd get you one too. And she's a girl, what if she's in danger? It's for emergencies. So, I ended up with the latest phone model. This short memory clip ended, and the comments went live again. The screen filled up fast with everyone's thoughts. One having learned from past experiences, I've stopped voicing my opinions. Why not? This time, I'm siding with my brother. Our parents obviously play favorites with the sister. They bought her a phone worth thousands just because she gets a phone in middle school, but when my brother asked, they said it would affect his studies. Why isn't she worried about it affecting her studies? Honestly, from my past observations, it feels like under the guise of doing what's best for my sister, the real beneficiary is my brother. Nah, it's not that sinister. Dad said her grades are naturally good. Plus, it's for her safety. If danger strikes, she can call for help immediately. I watched my parents' reactions. Their faces couldn't hide the tension anymore. I chuckled internally, knowing the bombshell hadn't even been dropped yet. No doubt, the AI voice verdict confirmed that their bias towards the brother was indeed true again. Let's wait for the extracted truths. From previous memory insights, I suspect that these parents believe their son has poor grades, and their daughter has good ones. So they wanted to distract her intentionally by getting her a phone, on the same page. I'm getting the same vibe here. You guys are really perceptive. I have no words left. My understanding was shattered. These parents really are crafty. They guessed right, that's exactly how it was. That night, my parents were whispering in their room. Matt, should we really get Mary a phone or not? Dad thought for a moment and nodded, yes. Mary has been stealing Larry's spotlight in the family with her good grades. Let's keep it hush. After all, image matters for boys. At every family gathering, one child overshadowed the other. Larry must be feeling crushed inside. Once Mary gets the phone, it might distract her a bit from studying. Let's also enroll Larry in a tutoring program. Maybe his grades will surpass Mary's. Back in middle school, how much wisdom did I have? I couldn't resist temptation all that well. So, it was no surprise. Distracted by the phone, my grades slipped by the end of semester. Unbelievable. I've seen favoritism, but nothing this sneaky. Exactly, using doting on the daughter as a cover, but paving the way for the brother. They gave the daughter a wealthy upbringing, but you can't blame the parents entirely for a lack of self-control with the phone. True, it was the sister who clamored for the phone, and she who lacked self-discipline, wasn't it? But they knew kids at that age have poor self-control. Denying the brother but giving her a phone shows they valued his studies more. At least I realized my downfall and eventually gave up on the phone, pulling my grades back up. But that's a later story. Now, after seeing 3 memories declaring bias, my parents and brother were in a panic. If all 5 memories confirmed it, they'd face punishment. Mary, your mom was at a loss for words, her lips moved, but nothing came out. Larry, however, glared at me. Mary, you ungrateful child. Stop the trial now. Larry's always been selfish. He feared for his neck, so he emotionally blackmailed me to stop it. I smiled at my parents. Didn't you say you loved me most? If I call it off, I'd get erased. Dad's face turned gray. He stammered, Mary, that isn't what we intended. Believe us. Larry protested, even if our parents are biased, what's it to me? It's not like I'm the one biased. Why should I get erased? Because you're the one benefiting, my brother. What are you scared of? There are still 2 memories left. The verdict comes after 5. Just wait and see. Right after saying this, the screen started playing my 4th memory. After my college entrance exam scores came out, I qualified for a prestigious out-of-state university. No, you're just a cheat. Mom can't bear to see you go that far. The moment I mentioned a school in LA, she clung to me as if I vanished the next second. Dad chimed in, exactly, you've never been far from us. We can't rest easy with you all the way in LA alone. Don't worry, I can take care of myself. Growing up, I always thought they loved me so much and listened to them. But this decision was about my future. No way, sweet daughter. We've waited so long for you, we can't bear the risk of something happening. Right. There's a university here that seems good too. Eventually, with tears and earnest concerns, I enrolled at the local school. Though it was disappointing, I believed everything they did was out of love for me. No sign of the brother in this memory though. I bet because he might already be in college, so, nothing to do with the brother then. He wasn't home, how could this be favoritism towards him? Remember, they wanted to distract her with a phone so the brother wouldn't be overshadowed by her grades. I bet they pulled the same move, because she got into a better school than he did. If not, I'll eat my words. I'm inclined to agree, but part of me does want to see that commitment to the promise, true to form. This memory also confirmed the bias. Right after, an undeniable extract of truth played on the screen. After the exams, my brother phoned my parents. How did sis do this time? He eagerly asked. She said she did well and estimated her scores. She should get into a prestigious college if nothing goes wrong. Why, despite my efforts, can't I outdo her? His voice dripped with jealousy and frustration. Over the phone, our parents exchanged worried glances, signaling how best to comfort him. Then, he suggested, you have to stop her from going to that university. My dignity has been stomped on by her my entire life. Without hesitation, Mom nodded. Yes, I can say I miss her and make her stay. Dad joined in agreement. Don't worry, Larry, Mary's always listened to us. See, in my past life, I was manipulated like this. For what kind of messed up truth extractor is this that it even knows such private stuff as phone conversations? No way, I refuse to accept this. My dad finally couldn't hold it any longer and started yelling. Not accepting it. Deal with it. The judge's voice stayed as cold as ever, with no emotion at all. The chat was filled with ha ha ha, with some people even calling it strangely cute. Mom quickly chimed in. This is an invasion of privacy. We're not doing this anymore, but stopping the trial would get us killed on the spot. I raised an eyebrow. What? Willing to have Larry get killed too? Sure enough, before she could finish her sentence, my dad and Larry both shouted together, Are you insane, Mom? Shut up, the judge's icy voice came through. Are you sure you want to stop the trial now? Mom realized what she was doing, quickly put her hands together and apologized to the AI judge. I'm sorry. I spoke in a moment of panic. Then she turned to me, tears rolling down her face. Mary, are you really this heartless? I guess she's hoping I'll stop the trial, but that would be admitting in front of the entire family and the whole world that they are, in fact, biased towards sons over daughters. If I get erased, they'd probably drown in everyone's scorn. After all, with a bit of memory still left, they might think there's still a chance before the final judgment. Before I could even look at the chat, the AI program had already started showing my 5th memory. This was from when I was just born, a memory I wouldn't normally recall. But after I died in my past life, my soul somehow saw this clip. While I was shocked and sad, a voice asked me if I wanted to be reborn. Thus, I'm here again, taking my parents to court for favoring a son over a daughter. The big screen was showing scenes from 23 years ago when Mom just gave birth to me. They were really happy. Mom hadn't been discharged yet, and Dad was taking care of her. They were chatting warmly with the family from the next bed. Yeah, there's just over a year between the two kids. We really wanted a daughter so much, and she's finally here. We even gave our son a name that means hope for a daughter's arrival. We really wanted a girl. The folks next to them looked envious. How nice, a boy and a girl. I have given birth to 3 sons and still no daughter. Don't worry, she'll come, my parents replied, looking at tiny me with big smiles. The video froze there. Anyone would find it touching, right? Why does this scene make me feel a bit moved? That joy of a newborn, honestly, is something only a parent would understand. Perhaps when I was just born, they truly loved me. But compared to a son, the son takes priority. Honestly, it's tough to treat 2 kids completely equally. The true reasons behind the first 4 memories were all for my brother. I'm impatient, hurry up and announce the verdict. This is about who gets erased, and I can't help but worry. The AI voice came on right on time. 5th memory's verdict, favoring sons over daughters, confirmed true. What? No way. The whole place erupted, with the chat going crazy. But all I saw were the 3 of them across from me trying to get up from their chairs. Their faces were filled with bitterness, resentment, and menace. They even tried to rush over, but since the trial began, we've all been stuck to our seats. It was so noisy below that I could only see their lips moving but couldn't hear what they were saying. I just looked at them and smiled. Quiet. Quiet. The AI's voice boomed, silencing the room, with everyone staring at the big screen. The scene switched to when Mom had just given birth to Larry. Also still at the hospital. Mom and Dad were overjoyed, looking at their sleeping son. Thanks, honey, for giving our family a son. Glad it's a boy. Didn't want to go through this again. It was so tough carrying and giving birth to him. Yeah, no more, no more. 1 son is enough. But when doing newborn checks, the doctor mixed up Larry's report, scaring them with the word bone marrow tumor on it. This mistake got cleared up quickly, but they were terrified. Later, they watched a movie about a son with leukemia who needed a sibling for a cord blood transplant. After learning that cord blood could treat major illnesses, they planned for me to be born, to keep Larry safe just in case. There's so much wrong here, I don't even know where to start. Who understands? When your believed happiness is shattered, and the truth is this harsh, I would go crazy. Thought my parents loved me, only to find out my birth was calculated. A sister born to pave the way for a brother, too awful, what a tragedy for this girl, poor sister, what did she do wrong? She was born for her brother. Live for him, die for him. These parents are such good actors, digging out even this hidden truth. Dad dropped the act. She's living fine, and we weren't bad to her. She just made a small sacrifice, and who wishes their child would get sick? We were just being cautious. If Larry stayed healthy, Mary would be fine too. Mom chimed in, I felt worse carrying her than Larry, and who doesn't love their own flesh and blood? Yes, Mary gave way to Larry a bit on some things, but we weren't bad to her. Larry couldn't hold it any longer, nearly screaming, Mary. You ungrateful brat, given everything at home, and you're being petty. Mary, I don't care how you do it, just stop this damn trial. I'm not getting erased, it's not like I'm the one to be erased, I'm innocent. I didn't do any of this. I looked at the 3 of them like they were strangers, calmly replying, if I don't take you to court today, a year from now I die on the operating table saving my brother. What are you talking about? You must be truly insane. A crazy trial doesn't count. I demand this trial be void. Since they didn't believe, I had no choice but to have the truth extractor pull out my last memory before my previous life ended. The plaintiff Mary will display a special memory. This memory has been verified by the truth extractor as completely accurate. 5. The AI judge warned everyone in advance. As soon as he finished speaking, a video started playing on the big screen. A year later, Larry was diagnosed with acute kidney failure and needed a transplant. He begged his parents, crying, you have to save me, I'm your only son. When the parents first found out about Larry's condition, they were shocked, almost fainting from the worry. But almost instantly, they thought about having me donate my kidney to Larry. Raised a daughter for 1,000 days, and now she was needed. But why did our young Larry get kidney failure? Luckily they had Mary, or what would have happened to Larry? But Larry wasn't satisfied with just one kidney, he wanted both of mine. And my dear parents, of course, didn't even hesitate before agreeing. After all, I was born ready to sacrifice for Larry. First, they pleaded tearfully for me to donate one kidney to my brother, morally guilt-tripping me, claiming we were both their beloved children and losing either of us would be unbearable. Yet, on the operating table, before the anesthesia kicked in, I heard the doctor say my parents wanted both my kidneys for my brother. In the end, I died on the cold operating table due to massive bleeding post-surgery. Destroy. Kill them. How can parents be so evil? Who understands the betrayal from loving parents, deceived even in death, unable to rest in peace? Meanwhile, the three across from me started to jump in panic. Impossible. How do you have this memory? Aren't you standing right here, alive? Are you some kind of psychic? This hasn't even happened yet. That's cheating. It's unfair. It's unfair. What did you bribe the judge with? I stared at them, knowing full well that in my past life, I didn't even get to wake up from the anesthesia before dying. But the news I heard before closing my eyes and the truth my soul learned after death broke my heart beyond measure. You wonder why I have this memory. It's not foresight. It's because I truly died on that operating table. These were my last memories before I died. If I didn't take you to court today, my fate would be exactly that. Luckily, the overseer of the alternate timeline couldn't stand it and gave me a second chance at life. As these words left my mouth, I could see blood draining from the three faces in front of me. Because in that world, rebirth isn't something particularly strange. The overseer is a mysterious and powerful presence. No wonder this girl was fearless from the start. She returned because she was reborn. Oh my God, that makes it even sadder. She actually died once already. Truly, the overseer has eyes, otherwise, her death would have been too unjust. These parents and brother truly deserve no mercy, did you notice? They're terrifying. They planned this far ahead for their son. The moment the daughter was born, she was a pawn. Larry portrayed selfishness so vividly, I think destroying him is too lenient. After all, Larry would suffer kidney failure a year later and wouldn't survive long. I suggest we cut out his kidneys too, without anesthesia, while he's awake. I second that. The comments kept flashing by as the AI judge banged the gavel again. 3 strong bangs finally quieted the room. Time to announce the verdict. After extracting the whole truth, Matt and Jennifer are found guilty of favoritism towards their son. The verdict is fair and just. Any disputes are not allowed. Punishment will follow shortly. No sooner had these words been spoken than the 3 voices in front cried out in unison. No, Mary. Mary. We beg you, let the overseer show mercy, please. Yes, he brought you back to life. You must be close to him. Beg him to spare Larry, please. It's me who's wronged you, sister. Your brother apologizes, kneels to you. Spare me, please, Larry said, his forehead repeatedly hitting the table. I looked at them with indifference, calmly shaking my head. Throughout history, the court is supreme, and no verdict is changeable, you know that. Not to mention I've never even met the overseer. Even if I had, no one has the power to interfere with the court. Deep down, they knew, but they just wanted one final struggle. Mary, we beg of you. We promise never to treat you that way again, to treat you well for the rest of our lives, to make up for it. Please forgive us, don't destroy Larry. If you must destroy someone, destroy us, spare Larry. We were the ones who favored our son over our daughter. He is innocent. Innocent. Was Larry innocent when he wanted both of my kidneys? That's when the AI judge spoke. Ready. Larry, execution immediately. No, don't. Larry, as the AI stopped speaking, Larry disintegrated into tiny pixels, vanishing gradually. Only the AI's voice echoed throughout the alternate timeline. Matt and Jennifer fainted on the spot. When they awoke, they received their punishment from the court, living in poverty and sickness. They came to me begging for money, begging me to save them, begging for my forgiveness. I didn't lend, save, or forgive. I'm not a merciful God. In this world, the truth is harsh, and so is human nature.